So we go to 15. I'm gonna say Kiss.
Haha, of course.
Another band that had a lot of lineup changes. You know, it's funny. People knock Metallica for changing their. Well, I'll get to that. I don't want to ruin that surprise, but another band that definitely changed their sound in certain ways. Like they started in '73, and from there it was like, well, they were the makeup band. They hard rock, glitter,
Yeah.
or shock rock, whatever you want to call it. You got the Gene Simmons spitting blood, and you have
Yes.
Paul Stanley as the star child, the very flamboyant. Ace Frehley, Space Ace, Peter Criss, the Catman. And then it evolved, you know, early 80s, you got Eric Carr replacing Peter Criss as
Right.
the Fox, and then Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Eric Singer joined as the drummer. They went unmasked in '83,
Yes.
so that was a little before that. But and then, of course, I mean, through the years, it's just that they look the part. And when it was the '70s, it was like a glam type thing, and the '80s, it was more like leopard skin and headbands and that shit. But they
Yeah.
still had the makeup until '83, and then '90s, it was more or less hang out and long hair and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So it was really cool back in the day. You know, Kiss broke up. I think that, I mean, I can't say anything about Gene Simmons that no one else has said. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy their music still, even though, you know, there's a lot of people saying stuff about them. But yeah, another really cool band, and I kind of wish they had other bands like that at this day and age, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think when Kiss decided to be different in '83 was like, okay, we can wear the face paint and have long hair and leather and, you know, Gene Simmons spitting blood and all this other stuff. But we can also look like four regular dudes and still make really good music.
And you know, it's kind of cool how they presented themselves. Like they hid their image for a while, and then Look It Up came up, and you see these four legs walking down an alley, and it eventually pans up to, well, Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons with Eric Carr and this Vinnie, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
It's not Ace Frehley or Peter Criss, so.
Yeah.
But another band that really, you know, and they also go with the times.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can definitely tell Destroyer from Animalized and so
Yeah.
on, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Gene Simmons and Stanley are the two basically originals of that
Yeah,
band.
they are the originals of the band.
Yeah.
And they're pretty cool. I mean, and that's all I can say about it. I mean, Gene Simmons obviously did reality TV
Yes.
for a while, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. And then, of course, he's an asshole, so what can I say?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of groups and bands that seem to have found the fountain of youth and friggin' have gone on for damn near ever, next on my list is just one of those bands I just decided to put on here because I haven't really followed them throughout their entire career, but I've listened to some of their songs and they're a really good band. They've got a very rock sound to them, and frick, who knows when they're ever gonna give it up, if they're ever gonna give it up. The Rolling Stones.
Yes, the Rolling Stones. I was just listening to Peanut Black this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very, it's kind of like back then, you had people go, Rolling Stones are the Beatles. And it's like, yeah, they're two different bands that, I guess one sounds a little bit more heavier than the other, maybe, I don't know. I
think the thing with the Rolling Stones is they got the drums and the electric guitars and, Mick Jagger and his very unique vocal styling.
Yeah.
And then Beatles were just, they're upbeat, up-tempo, but they were not so much a rock group so much as I don't even know how to describe their style, so to speak.
Yeah, I can't really. It's rock and roll. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
And they're still very good for how they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in their 70s and they're still going.
Oh, they'll still rock.
Shit,
like, and Mick Jagger, he's 69, 70, whatever.
Yeah,
And he can still move like he's friggin' 30.
And Keith Richards, like, holy shit, the guy's been through a fuck of a lot. A heroin addiction, an alcoholism, and, fucking snorting cocaine, and he's still going at his age.
Oh yeah, he's still shredding away on that guitar like it's nothing.
Shit. Wow, that's crazy. I do enjoy Rolling Stones myself, obviously, and yeah, another really cool band.
Yes.
So, number 15, you go Rolling Stones. I decided I'm gonna go to this band, the, American Rolling Stones, if you will, Aerosmith.
Oh, of course.
Aerosmith is one of those bands that I got into when I was little. I didn't know a lot of their music, but from what I listened to, I really enjoyed it. And again, another band that you could definitely tell, Toys in the Attic from Pump. I mean, that's a sound, obviously, from the 70s and the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. And, you have Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, who were known as the Toxic Twins. They did every fucking drug under the sun.
And they're still going.
And they're still going. And they're still... Yeah, I mean... Steven Tyler just turned 70, and he still fucking goes crazy. And I mean, he's quite the ugly motherfucker, but one of these bands that really influenced a lot of people too. And
yeah, with Steven Tyler, he's not one of those guys that you can go, oh man, he's a good-looking dude. He looks good. He sounds good, and he's really cool. It's just, okay, yeah, he's old. You can tell he's old, but hell, he can still rock out, jam out,
scream.
Oh,
he still scream. But another band that I don't even know if they've broken up yet, or I don't know, but yeah, they're still. I don't know a lot of their newer stuff. Probably from 2004 on, I should pick it up or whatever, but still one of my favorite bands that I have listened to since I was little.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I think they're you know, if they go another couple more years, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. I think Aerosmith's most popular song, or one of them probably, would be. I think the song's called I Don't Want to Mess with Them
Oh god.
from
yeah.
the Armageddon movie.
Yeah, that song won't make you cry. Shit. Yeah, there's a story that we had a concert on, and we just lost our family dog, and that song came on, and the waterworks came back. Shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah. Next for me is certainly an old school band. Probably maybe not as popular as they were back then. I mean, I'm sure they still are popular, but they were like huge back 80s and so on. I didn't really listen to a lot of their albums and records and majority of their music, but there's a select few songs that you really can identify with and recognize and go, oh yeah, these guys are good. I got Queen.
Yes. Yeah, Queen's fucking cool. I really enjoy their music as well. Like, it's pretty. I mean, you look at this band and the range that they have, like, they're probably one of the first bands that explored different genres.
Yeah.
You know, from opera to hard rock to pop to, well, rockabilly, I guess.
Yeah.
A crazy little thing called Love is really close to being like a 1950s song, if you will. But yeah, you know, it's a shame that we lost Freddie Mercury when we did.
Yeah.
You know, that band really tried to carry on after his death, and don't think it's going too well anymore, but
Yeah, I mean, you can have whoever do covers of their songs and, you know, try and be like Freddie Mercury, but nobody can ever replace Freddie Mercury.
No.
He's one of those guys that his voice made that band what it was. As, you know, Steven Tyler is to Aerosmith, and Mick Jagger is to the Rolling Stones, and I can't even remember his name. The lead singer was to Journey.
Steve Perry.
Yeah, Steve Perry was to Journey. Freddie Mercury was Queen.
Yeah, I mean, you compare his voice to Brian May's guitar playing. Oh my god. It's crazy.
Oh
And
yeah.
the shows that they would put on, like, you guy comes out, you know, and with the king's robe and the big crown and everything. It's just kind of cool to see that guy who is. You see these macho guys walk out to him, and he's openly gay, and it's like, oh, that doesn't even matter.
No.
He's an awesome human
yeah.
being. But, you know, if they ever come back, hey, that's pretty cool, but, you know, they're another. Yeah, that's a good pick.
And you know, talking about how Queen diversified their style, I mean, you go, 3 songs that stuck out in my head. Go from We Will Rock You to We Are the Champions.
Yeah.
And then Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes. Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, obviously one of their famous songs.
Oh yeah.
You know, just kind of And it's the different elements, you know. You have the opera, you
The
have
high opera style,
Yeah.
and then kind of the low, slow piano is, and then it really gets into the rock.
yes, yeah. Another band that is, you know, a lot of this generation. It happened again. Where were we? Yes. Elton John is one of.
He's one of those performers that has lasted for so long and come up with so many great songs that you really able to enjoy him, and he's so diversified that he can pretty much just do anything.
Yeah, you know, and I think that he's just another one of those influences I had as a kid. My mom being a fan, and you look at this guy, and he's one of the greats. Like
Oh yeah.
great songs like Tiny Dancer, Rockin' Man, and of course my favorite, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And then you have The One. You've got,
Yeah.
I guess that's what they call the blues. You know, and then you get the stuff that he did with The Lion King. And
Yeah.
I think that that's very cool to see that, you know. The guy was, you know, one of the best piano men, if you don't count Billy Joel.
Joel, yeah.
But yeah, I think that he's another one of the greats. So
And you can even, if you want to go a completely different style of song altogether, don't think you can mention Elton John without mentioning the song that he wrote and performed at Princess Diana's funeral,
oh, Candle in the Wind.
Candle in the Wind.
Yes, that song was actually originally about, there was the kid in the 80s when AIDS was just starting to be taken seriously.
Right.
He had AIDS and then he passed on. Had Elton John perform, and that's the song he came up with, which would later be in Princess Diana's funeral. And what's still one of, you know, depending on how you look at it, a tearjerker.
Yeah.
But Elton John's just another class act, you know. And his music will live on forever, I'm sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, one of the, I guess, big verses that stands out about that song is, seems to me that you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never known who to blame when the rain started falling down.
Yes.
That truly emphasizes what your life is like. When you're born, that candle's lit, you go out on throughout life, the candle burns, the wax melts, and then eventually that candle is extinguished.
Yeah. That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
So.
Next for me is, oh yeah, a group I selected kind of just on a whim. There's one particular song that I know of that's a really good song. It's kind of a, I guess you could say, a love ballad sort of thing. I'm not really too familiar with their other songs, but I just put them on here. Just why not? Poison.
Oh yeah. Poison's another really cool band from the 80s. They had one of the biggest hair bands, glam rock band or hair metal, if you will. And yeah, just one of those bands that a lot of the thrashers hated
Yeah.
in the day because they wore the lipstick and they sang for women, I guess, and
Yeah.
they were party and ballads and all that other stuff. And of course, you have Bret Michaels, one of the greatest singers of that genre, and yeah, he's also been on a lot of reality shows.
Yes.
He was born with juvenile diabetes, and you know, he's one of those guys that you would really want to meet because he seems like he's a really chill person.
Oh yeah.
I've heard otherwise, but you
Yeah.
know, it is what it is. And also a really good supporter of, I guess, PetSmart. So that's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy Poison as well, and I think they're one of my favorite hair metal bands, I guess.
Yeah. And I think probably their most, I don't know about popular song, but probably most heard song, I guess, is Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Yep, that's a power ballad there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I said love ballad, but really power ballad.
yeah, you know, and I think that's why it's hated by most metalheads, is that because a lot of their subgenre is ballads. You know, every song, every CD has a ballad on it,
Yeah.
and I really enjoy that song myself. So, yeah, there it is.
Yep.
So I have my pick. Gonna do Alice Cooper.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
You know, Alice Cooper. I was a big fan of when I was a kid. When I was probably 15, and I mean, my dad had "Welcome to My Nightmare"
Yeah.
and "Billion Dollar Dreams" on a cassette tape, so I would listen to that time to time and think, you know, oh wow, this is an interesting musician. But here's a guy who brought shock rock to, well, that's how it existed. Without Alice Cooper, there's no Kiss. Without Alice Cooper, there's no Rob Zombie, no Marilyn Manson. You know, just kind of like the guy really. It's almost like glitter rock, like, you know, David Bowie, except it was like hard rock. And, you know, again, another guy who was really a part of a generation, you know. Like, in the 70s, he was the big, you know, scary guy with
Yeah.
the makeup and the snake and just a lot of other cool things that were shocking at that time. And in the
Yeah.
80s, it was all about, you know, the big hair. And I mean, he still had the leather jacket and stuff, but he always got for the times. And then, of course, you know, I think as he aged, you know, his music got a little heavier
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like, I remember Brittle Planet back in 2000, and that's probably as heavy as he ever got.
Yeah.
But, you know, another guy who was a full-blown alcoholic, became a Christian, you know, it is what it is, and just became a golfer as well, you know, appeared at WrestleMania 3,
Yes.
you know, appeared on Wayne's World,
Yes.
you know, and again, one of my all-time favorites. And, you know, back in October 3rd, 2004, played in Peterborough. And
Right.
that was pretty much my first concert. So that was pretty cool. I have one of his balloons from School's Out
Yeah.
somewhere, but
We'll talk about Alice Cooper making an appearance at WrestleMania 3. It was his lead guitarist, I'll say, I believe it was,
Oh, yeah.
that performed with a spin-off of Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song for this year's WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, that's the one. Nina Strauss.
Nina Strauss. Oh, yeah. I came downstairs to get something, and when I came up, I think AJ was already headed to the ring.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah, and then I told him about it, he's like,
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, it was an epic performance.
oh, it was amazing, amazing performance.
But again, Alice Cooper, another showman. You know?
Oh, yeah.
A guy that basically, even though he's been, clean and sober for a decade, or a few decades, yeah. I think he said 38 years or something, I can't remember. Oh, it'd be less than that. So,
Whichever it is.
he still can go.
Oh, yeah.
It's like there was always that notion that you need that to get through and be a character, and that's kind of how he put it. Like, he had this character, and he couldn't separate himself from the character.
Yeah.
That's why he was who he was, and now
Yeah.
he understands a lot of things now.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool. He's still one of my favorites.
Yeah, you get into the rock life, and it can be a bitch sometimes.
It's not just the rock life, it's
But
the country.
the music industry as a whole,
Yeah.
I think some people, it just,
It hits you,
oh, yeah.
the pressure. And even if we always talk about professional wrestling,
Yes.
with a lot of lives lost because of drug addiction or
Yeah.
something like that, it's not an easy life.
No,
that's for
it's
sure.
not. And even to think about, like, musicians and bands and that were big in the 80s and really into the alcohol, the drugs, having sex, and stuff like that, and get through it and still be around today, shows you the ill effects of that generation, but the success of the person to get through that and eventually, like, sober up and carry on.
Yeah, for sure.
So next for me is, I originally had another band on here, but I decided to switch it. I'll get to it a little later. But the next choice, I just came into my mind while we were shooting out there, and I feel it's a really good group, a fairly popular group. I'm kind of familiar with their songs, but I'm not really fully, but it is what it is. I got the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, yeah. Another great alternative band. The 90s had some real kick-ass music, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Shit. And you can determine the band in a few genres. I used to think they were a part of the grunge scene, which isn't necessarily true. You could say they're like a goth rock scene.
Yeah.
You could say they're a hard rock or alternative. Just one of those bands that were really good in that day. I mean, now it's only Billy Corgan who is the singer, and they change his members often, and
Right.
that's always gonna be, Darcy James, the other James, and Billy. It's
Yeah.
like kind of one of the originals, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, due to Billy Corgan being an asshole or whatever, it's like yeah, Smashing Pumpkins is always going to be one of the best bands of the 90s, whether it's Bullet and Butterfly Wings, or Today, or Zero, or Sure Barack, or Perfect, Avador. All these songs they're just, you know, what can I say about them?
Oh yeah.
And sorry, that was your pick, and I just
That's okay.
But when did you start listening to them?
Well, it's probably the wrong group, but songs I remember mostly were used for the movie Shrek.
Oh, you're thinking about Smash Mouth. Foul!
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Smashing Pumpkins, Smash Mouth.
it's not the same thing.
Hey, but they both have Smash in their names, alright? Give me a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like Smash Mouth then?
They're good too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not really completely up to speed on Smash Mouth songs, but I mean, you know, you got the
No.
Rockstar.
Apparently not other than Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they also did Hallelujah.
I don't know.
Anyways,
Yeah.
the Rockstar, anyways, is a good song of Smash Mouth.
Yes. Anyways. So,
But that's twice I fucked up.
that's okay, it happens.
At least with the rest of my list, I'm good on.
Alright. Well, let's see. Well, I think I'm gonna go with this band right here. I listened to this band very late. I know a lot of people in high school started the 9th grade. I was probably in grade 11 when I finally started to listen to this band. Very cool metal band, one of the big four thrash bands, fucking Slayer. You know, just kind of like, you know, a band that was, you know, influenced by a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal and punk rock as well. You know, you had Jeff Hanneman, who would have the Dead Kennedys logo and all that other stuff, and then Kerry King with his new wave of British heavy metal influence, and if I'm not mistaken, you get Dave Lombardo, who left the band and replaced by, can't believe I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah. I
Unfortunately.
can't help you, dude. I don't know nothing about Slayer.
I know. Yeah, I don't know why I can't remember, but he played with the band for a few years. You got, I think it was 2004, when Lombardo came back for a while, and then he left again, and, you know, Jeff died in 2012, and they had Exodus guitarist Gary Holt play, and then, so basically, it's like Kiss, where it's Tom and Kerry who are the originals in the band.
You could say the surviving members of that group.
Yeah, if you want. I mean, another band that I believe, and it's unfortunate, like, they're not as popular, it seems, as they once were. And I'm still a huge fan of Slayer. I think that a lot of the younger generation somehow discovered most of these bands, and Slayer is always going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of, again, you know, you talk about Poison. this band was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
You know, they were the, you know, the true, I guess, men of that genre, the subgenre of thrash, and it was very cool, you know. And I think that I'm not sure Slayer is actually gonna do their last ever tour, so it's actually a lot of bands that are breaking up or
Cool.
not touring anymore. Judas
Yeah.
Priest just finished their tour,
Yep.
so it seems like, yeah, who knows? Like, who knows what the future's gonna hold? You know, a lot of the good bands are going, and Slayer definitely one of the best. You know, it's got the raw power. It's so fast. It's so heavy. Even when it's not fast, it's very heavy. It's just I can't do it justice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Slayer is awesome.
Next for me, I'm gonna keep this introductory pretty damn short because I'm sure Matt and I are gonna have a lot to talk about this next band. I would say maybe top 10 greatest bands of all time. I'm pretty familiar with their music. I'm sure Matt is also quite familiar with their music. Guns N' Roses.
Oh yeah, yeah. Guns N' Roses is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if Axl Rose wasn't such a twat,
Yeah.
you know, I would enjoy their music a lot more. I mean, and I shouldn't say that. They're still pretty cool, you know. I think back in the day when you had the originals, you had Duff McKagan, Axl Rose, Izzy Stradlin, Steve Adler, and then, you know, that was great. You had Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, unfortunately went all downhill from there, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it was, well, obviously it was, you know, the huge drug problem and alcohol problem that they all had.
Yes.
You know, Axl Rose fucking swears that he didn't do that, but he's a liar, so. You look at this band and you think, what could have been?
Yeah.
And you go, alright, so Chinese Democracy is not a true Guns N' Roses CD. There's no way that could be possible. And it's kind of sad when you think about it. But a lot of, you know, band members changed, and it just, I think after a while, it just fell apart.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there was at one point they Axl Rose stepped away for something, and then they brought in another singer from a completely different group to lead Guns N' Roses.
oh, well, actually, it was kind of, that's half true. Like, it was, they changed their name to Velvet Revolver.
Oh.
They got Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots to play for Guns N' Roses, basically, minus Steven Adler.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, basically didn't really get back together, you know, and
Yeah.
they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Axl wasn't there.
Yeah.
Just bad blood, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, from what I heard, Axl and Slash made up. They are touring again, so
Yeah.
just a band that, yeah, you know, their music is very cool, and it's kind of like, you know, back when I was a teenager, you know, listening to stuff back then was a little bit better than it is now.
Yeah. What would you say is one or maybe a few of your favorite songs from GNR?
Well, besides Welcome to the Jungle, you've got Patience, which I've heard today. You have Paradise City. You have Mr. Brownstone in the Garden, which features Alice Cooper. You have Sweet Child of Mine.
There, yeah.
You know,
I'd say though, Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, and Paradise City are like my three favorites of theirs.
I think, listening to Patience this morning was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like, unfortunately I can't whistle, so, but yeah, no, it's very cool to hear those songs again,
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
that, unfortunately, they didn't get their shit together enough to stay together. And
Yeah.
it's kind of sad, but
It's too bad, but sometimes things just happen the way they happen, and
yeah,